How is everyone doing today? It is July 22nd of 2024 and we are super excited. We have another tomato to show everybody. Our main tomatoes are heirlooms and indeterminates this year. Still aren't producing flowers. We had a weird heat wave that hit us early in June. That's kind of stunted our main tomatoes, but our dwarf tomatoes, they are producing. Maybe not as well as I'd like them yet, but there are some that are producing. So we would like to get those out of the way. There's several that are on the vine here. This tomato that I'm going to show you guys today is called the Dwarf Tasmanian Chocolate. And it is also another one from the Dwarf Tomato Project. I'm not quite sure what its parents are or where it comes from, but all the Dwarf Tomato Project tomatoes are ones that are considered established seed or open pollinated, meaning that when I save seeds from these, I can also regrow these, and I'll still get a true to type tomato from the same kind. A lot of times with crosses and hybrids and stuff like that, if they haven't been bred out enough times to make sure that the kind is stabilized, you can't really save seeds because you don't really know what you're going to get. But with the Dwarf Tomato Project, they're creating tomatoes that are plants that are smaller sized. So you can see this one right here. Let me stand next to it right here. Show me next to it. And that's also, it's in a bucket down below here. So this is the Tasmanian chocolate. We have several on here that are getting really ripe. This is one of the tomatoes I don't necessarily like as a snacker. I like as more as the saucy flavor in it. So letting it go a little bit ripe means that generally speaking, it's going to have a super rich flavor. Usually when we're talking about dark tomatoes, we put them into different categories. You may say the black crim is considered a black tomato. It's actually, to me, I put it in more of a purple tomato category. There's also one called the Japanese black trifle. I put that one into more of a brown or rust category. And I was reading one of my comments online earlier of somebody that was calling them Dusky, and I think that's a really cool name to call them because there are different flavor profiles to these dark tomatoes. In the camera here, it looks more reddish than it actually is. But this is the Tasmanian chocolate tomato, July 22nd of 2024. We've had this kind a couple times in the past. It's been a pretty productive kind. These ain't the best looking tomatoes to save seeds off of necessarily. I'm not sure if we'll save any seeds from these ones, but it'll at least give us a chance to take it inside and kind of show you. As you guys can see, we've been getting splitting and everything. Our season's been so up and down, and we've been able to sometimes put a lot of time out in the yard, and then all of a sudden there's like a week or two where we end up being able to put very little time out in the yard. So a lot of ups and downs this season. It's resulting in a couple different things. Normally these don't split so much. It may be a little bit of the genetics of the plant, so I would have to see better tomatoes appear on the plant for me to not think that this is my fault and save seeds from it, just saying to myself that this is probably just normal Taz chocolate seeds. But we really like this one. We'll go inside, we'll open some up, and I'll have a little bit more of a chat on this for you. But this is the Tasmanian chocolate tomato, a really excellent productive tomato from the Dwarf Tomato Project, and great stuff. Super happy to have it. So we're going to take these inside and show you a little bit more. Love you guys, and catch you in a second. So here we go. This is the Taz chocolate. As you can see that there's some splitting on them. These ones ain't very big in comparison to they don't get very much bigger, but I feel really insecure sometimes when I do these videos because I'm not showing you the best plant. I'm not showing you the best looking tomatoes off that plant. In fact, we're still a little early on our season, starting with the tomatoes and stuff, but I would like to get some of these off so that I could actually get some better ones on here. So anything you guys see in my videos is indicative of what this plant can do or anything else like that. I hate to disparage stuff. I just like to mostly be able to share my personal experience and kind of show you guys something cool. So when we talk about dark tomatoes, we're generally talking about three different major flavor profiles. One we call black, one we call Dusky now, because that was a cool name that I heard, and then one we're calling purple. Purple ones would be the Cherokee purple, the carbon, the black creme. Even though the black creme might lean a little bit into the dusky flavor, I still consider the black creme a purple tomato, even if it's called a black creme. So we just kind of put them in these different categories because I feel like a lot of tomatoes get put into the black or dark tomato category, and you might consider this one similar in flavor because it's also considered a dark tomato like a Cherokee purple to have that same flavor. To me, there's completely different flavors. The ones that fall in the purple category, like I was saying, we generally like as slicers and salsas, and they have a purple, almost smoky flavor to them. The ones we put in the black category are the ones that are high in a substance called anthocyanin, and it almost becomes like an indigo black or purple, or indigo purple or black. It's a really, really dark color. Ones that I would put in that category is probably the Black Beauty is one of the rare ones that would go in there. And possibly, I've been thinking about it, and I haven't had one in a long time. I think the Black Brandy wine might hit in that same category. It has that same sort of flavor that you get from anthocyanin. Anthocyanin is what makes the black tomatoes black, and it's the same substance you would find in blackberries. It's almost like a bittersweet kind of, almost wine-ish flavor that you can get in tomatoes. And then the third category that we call brown, dusky, or rust are the Japanese black trifle fits in that category. There's one called the Paul Robeson that fits in that category. The Black Prince fits in that category. And then this one right here would fit into that category. So even though it's called the Taz chocolate, which also is something we refer to sometimes as the dusky tomatoes, it does fit into that category. So the same category as like the Japanese black trifle. What I have known with the dusky flavored tomatoes is they do sometimes, most of the time, end up seeming to be a little more of a juicy tomato, and they also have a really, really rich flavor, almost like ready-made sauce. If I was to make a sauce with any tomato, it would have to be the Japanese black trifle, Paul Robeson, Black Prince. And as far as dwarf tomatoes go, this is the one that I would say fits in that dusky tomato category the most. So the Taz chocolate here, it is one that in the past, even if we don't have a good taste test on this, I have noticed has a really, really strong flavor, and is one that I think would make a really good sauce because the richness of the flavor that is in these is hard to kind of explain, but it's almost like ready-made sauce. Like maybe you put some basil in there or something, or some sort of herbs or something in the tomato before actually making the sauce with it. So it's like, I call it ready-made sauce that comes a lot of times in these. This one's looking really meaty.
Yeah, it looks really good on the inside to me.
I was just saying these ones are juicier and this one's not as juicy as those, but
looks like it would be a good slicer if it was bigger, you could still do it on smaller sandwiches.
Yeah, and you could make a small pot of salsa if you were just to cut this piece up and stuff. Yeah. We're not going to save seeds from these ones, so we're going to take big bites maybe. I'll let Angel go first. This is the Taz chocolate tomato. Too big of a bite?
Yeah. It has a smoky flavor to it. I got smoky almost instantly when I started chewing.
Does it have that rich flavor?
It does have a rich flavor. It's a little milder than I remember. Like, more watered down. Maybe we did some overwatering, but I definitely got a smoky flavor from it.
Me too. So, this one does taste rich. Like Angel was saying, I think ours are a little bit watered down. You can almost see that where we might have overwatered it, or it might have been an uneven watering is why it might have split. So, the splitting is most likely our fault. We'll watch for more better tomatoes to arrive on the vine as the season goes along and be saving seeds from those. But we won't be saving seeds from this.
It does taste really good, though. I like the flavor of it. I think it would go good on like a hamburger. If you were
to meat on that too. It's actually,
and it's not so juicy that it's making a mess. It's got a good amount of meat to it, so I think it would taste good on a sandwich or a hamburger, like if you grill some burgers up. And it's got that nice smoky flavor to it, so I think it would blend well with that kind of food. I like it. I think it tastes really good.
And yeah, these ones don't get very big. They're about a medium-sized tomato. They're not small, but they're about medium-sized. So these ones don't get really big, but this one here specifically would make a decent slicer. Sometimes in the past I've noticed they are a lot juicier on the inside from any of the Dusky style tomatoes, but this one right here is actually pretty meaty and really, really good stuff. So it would make a decent slicer in a pinch. It wouldn't be the one that I would choose for a slicer, but this one actually, these ones this year for us actually they would make pretty good slicers.
Yeah.
Like for instance, a black cherry tomato makes an excellent snack, but it doesn't make an excellent tomato sandwich because you have to dice up each little individual cherry tomato. This one right here would make a great sauce, and if you wanted to make a tomato sandwich for it as well, a couple of them would do really, really well for something like that.
Yeah.
Really, really like this kind. One of the ones, see, when we're growing our bigger style tomatoes, out there right now, we do have the black trifle and the black prince. The Paul Robeson isn't in our yard this year, but that's another one that we love for saucing. And this one right here came into our yard. So if you're looking for a tomato that is pretty rich in flavor, I hate saying it's pretty rich. It's very, very rich. It's got a lot of really good flavor to it. I think ours just might be a little bit watered, so we might not be getting the kick that we used to. But look how the meat looks. It's almost like a steak. It's almost a little tiny bit of mealiness, but not bad. And the flavor is tomato sauce flavor. It's hard to explain. Maybe more ketchup than it is anything like you would consider most of the dark tomatoes. But we really, really love growing this one. The sprouts have done excellent for us every single time, and it's been one of our higher producers out of the dwarf tomatoes each season, usually our second or third on production for tomatoes by the end of the season. So like I was saying, our tomato season's doing really, really poor right now, and as you can see, we pulled a few off of this one, and it'll probably inspire another spike in growing. But this is an excellent tomato. I'm super happy it made it into our yard again this year. I'm
super happy to have gotten something from it
this
early already.
But we love this this tomato. We love this tomato. Not much to say about it. Our goal is to get enough that we can make like a pot of sauce. We want enough like tomato sauce or tomato soup.
Yeah.
It would be made nice to make a lot of tomato soup.
I think this would be a great tomato for soup, actually. That's a good idea. I never thought of that, but I think it would make a very tasty tomato soup. It would be nice if we could get enough to do that.
Yeah. And these wonky ones ain't indicative of what you can do. But we really wanted to show this tomato. It comes from the Dwarf Tomato Project. We have a hoard of seeds on it. We have a hoard of seeds of anything that we've grown to production. So we're not necessarily saving seeds on this, but look at how beautiful that is. I know that some of it looks a little bit shysty with the cracks and stuff, but that's mostly our situation. Yeah, very, very good.
You can cut those pieces off.
So July 22nd of 2024, this is the Taz chocolate, and I'll take you outside for one last look, and we'll catch you next time. Love you guys. All right, so this is the Dwarf Taz chocolate. It's this plant right here. Let's go around the other side. We'll see if we can get a little look at it. Look at how much it's producing up here. I need to come and take these growth tips off so I can try to push some more production down into the other part. We just done really, really poorly on our trimming this year so far, so we're getting all plant and not a lot of tomato, and then our heat is causing things to flower slowly. Look at that wonky one on there. Ugly but edible. Got some flowering up in there, but these plants, they get about 4 or 5 foot tall, and ours is also in a bucket that's about a foot tall, so it's sitting right now, it's probably sitting at about 5 foot. So really productive plants, as you can see. Rosella purple, Taz chocolate, that one is the purple heart, in here is the Egypt yellow, and back here is the banana toes. That's 5, and then we have the Mocha's cherry, and then we have the strawberry lemonade. So far this season we have some from the banana toes. Every one of them is producing at least one. This has got 1 on it. This has got like 2 on it. That one back there has 0 on it so far. So that one has none on it. But the plant is going crazy because that one is an Egypt yellow and it's in a bigger bucket than these ones right here. In these buckets right here, I think they're 7-gallon pots that we got, I believe from Home Depot a couple years ago. They are excellent for growing these. You could actually grow these really, really well. Our neighbor is growing dwarf tomatoes in just regular 5-gallon buckets. So the plants are considered indeterminate, but they are determinate in a sense that they only get so tall. So you can see if I don't trim some of these suckers and stuff out and some of these growth tops out, it's gonna just keep trying to produce plant. But a really, really excellent tomato. Um, One of our favorites from the Dwarf Tomato Project, as far as leaning towards making a sauce or something out of. I think the Rosella Purple, we're going to do a video on that one pretty soon. That one knocks about every dwarf out of the park as far as flavor. But the Taz chocolate is an excellent, excellent go-to. If you make a lot of tomato soups, tomato sauce, things like that, like I was saying, the flavor's really rich and it seems to lean more towards a ready-made sauce sort of flavor. Like when you eat the tomato, it tastes like it's already got some enriched herbs and stuff placed inside of the tomato while it was growing. So really unique from the Dusky tomatoes or the brown or chocolate, anything you'd like to call them. We're starting to call them Dusky now. It just sounds like a cooler name for those type. This one right here is the Black Prince. Tons of plant, no flowering. This one right here is the Black Trifle. These are two flavor profiles similar to the Taz chocolate. So always showing out for us every year, always producing something for us. Even if our stuff doesn't work right here, we still got an excellent Dusky tomato to grow and use. We really, really like that flavor. It is a powerful plant and super proud to have grown it. So if you haven't grown anything that you see on our channel, we would advise you at least try once. Even if you see something and even if we have a bad experience, your experience is almost surely going to be different than ours. We just like to share our personal experiences and super proud of this tomato in the yard this year. So UT Angel and Kiddo, July 22nd, 2024, the Taz chocolate tomato, and we will catch you next time. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.